name's Amber, and I'm part of the SET team. And it's been a privilege to be a part of this team, to work with Melanie and Andre. And I'm excited to be starting off this new training series for site coordinators. And hopefully it will be beneficial to you as you move into the summer. I know some of you are veterans at this and some of you are more new, but hopefully this training will bring some light to some things that we can just have excellence and success in our summer sessions. So I've got a ton of things going on here. As you can see, I'm sharing a screen with you on another computer, just like a PowerPoint we'll go through. But I want to start off real quick and just quick talk about the learning style test that you took. And I guess just real quick, if we could have maybe 2 people chime in and just say what their learning style was, and then what they can gain from knowing that moving forward into the site coordinator role.
Sorry, Amber, one more time.
I was just asking if one of the site coordinators could chime in saying what their learning style was and how they could benefit from knowing that moving forward into the summer as a site coordinator.
I could go, Amber. I was a visual learner. I think being a site coordinator, kind of first when you jump in, you kind of have to see it as an overview when you don't know what the PGC atmosphere is like. So I guess visually just seeing everyone being affected by other athletes, other coaches, everyone in the session. Visually, I think that's how I learn things.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate that, Alexa. Anybody else not have visual and had either tactical or auditory that want to just chime in and share their learnings?
I'm tactical, and I definitely know I have to do everything like for a practice round before I actually do it for real. So as far as a site coordinator, I would have to do a master tracker before I went, or do a practice one before I turned it in. And that's how I found I was most successful in being able to do it all first. It was definitely how I learned best.
Awesome. Thanks, Mel, for sharing. Yeah, so that was just a way to have some fun, hopefully to give some insight to you as you move forward, and hopefully an opportunity that will just click in your mind as you're at sessions, how you can best grow and learn in certain situations. As you can see on the other shared screen, we're going to be talking about finances tonight, and our goal is to teach you all everything you need to know about finances through our session. And kind of the topics we're going to hit on is per diem, reimbursement, store sales, athletic trainer payment, pizza money, and then basically best practices for the master tracker. But before we dive in, is there somebody who's done site coordinator, the site coordinator role for a couple of years now that would like to just chime in and share their experiences working with finances in the past, and maybe whether it be some tidbits or just how that is such an important part, an integral part of the week? I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure if we have. Alexa, I think you're veteran, so do you want to chime in for us?
Yeah, sure. As far as all those things go, I think most importantly, to stay organized and on top of things. I did everything not on night or night 4 when everything was hectic. I kind of did it throughout the week, so divvying up things to do, having everything organized, having your pizza money ready. I night 3 would do some store inventory, so you won't have that much to worry about on day 5 when you have to send everything out. Per diem, I kind of looked at before we really got started, just so I know who to give money to before they leave, so they don't forget that. And that's reimbursements too. Athletic trainer payment, knowing how much you're paying your athletic trainer, that will be set before the session. So however, whatever's set for that payment, you'll be giving that to the athletic trainer, making sure they get the form signed on night 4 because they won't be there on day 5.
Yeah, that's a ton of great stuff, Alexa, all wrapped into a matter of a minute. So I appreciate those sharings. And that's exactly the things that we're going to be sharing tonight as we walk through this. So starting with store sales, you're going to have $200 float that's going to come from the director, and you need to make sure you receive that right away on day 0 as you're prepping for getting ready for the store on day 1. The Square Up is an essential part of store sales. We utilize the Square Up for all transactions that happen within the store, whether it's cash, credit card, or check. And I'm not going to dwell a ton on Square Up this week. We're going to talk a little bit more about it next week in our training, but it is vital that we are aware of how to utilize Square Up, how to train people to use Square Up, and that all transactions are going through Square Up. And then at the end of the session, you will be asked to fill out what's called our master tracker. And this is something that I'd say veteran SCs know that they shouldn't just fill it out at the end of the session, but actually begin to work on it throughout the session so that they're not scrambling kind of last minute. It's a big project that needs to have great precision. So we will talk about how to fill this master tracker out and the things that would go in there. The master tracker is all cash related or check. No credit cards would be involved in the master tracker. So one of the things I had you guys do was, and hopefully you're able to do this, was bring envelopes. And you don't really necessarily need to use these envelopes because I don't want to waste your envelopes. But this was an idea to give you as you started off a session, is to have a set of envelopes, and each envelope has a title. So for the 7 envelopes, it would be reimbursements and per diem is 1, pizza is another, athlete tuition, and then store sales for day 1, day 3, day 5, and staff. And what I'm going to do here actually through this little training session is give you some numbers to jot down. And it's kind of like we're gonna do this homework assignment through the session. And so jot these numbers down as I give them to you, so that then at the end, I'm gonna have you fill out a master tracker on your own before we go through it together, just to see how well you did. So that's just an FYI there. Moving forward though, with reimbursements, best practice is to utilize the credit card as much as possible. A director may have a PGC credit card, so if there's any way to use that, let's for sure use that. But reimbursements would be used from store sales, and you would be handing out reimbursements on day 4. So this would include travel or any type of printing or tape that needed to be bought earlier in the session. And then talking about per diem, the director, assistant director, and SC are the ones who are allowed to have per diem. Obviously, this per diem could come from, if I was the site coordinator and I'm traveling in on day 0 and I travel through the lunch. so I could be reimbursed for lunch on that day. Obviously, we stress having receipts, which would be important, and you can see the per diem amounts for each meal. Also on your agenda, no need to go to it now, but this is where you'll find it. There's a staff travel link to go to a document where the tab credit card instructions and budget will pop up, and that will give you an understanding of all of what can be reimbursed and kind of the credit card used. So that's a good cheat sheet if you're kind of forgetting and need some reminders. I would challenge you to look at that after our session today as we move forward. So real quick, I'm just gonna have you write this down. I'm gonna give you some numbers so you can ready yourself with the master tracker. But on your reimbursements and per diem envelope, I want you to write Amber, $8.22 was spent for lunch. $8.22 spent for lunch. Andre, $10.57 was spent for lunch. $10.57 was spent for lunch. This is on day 0. And then Melanie used her credit card. She's the director, $7.89. So just to let you know, even if she handed you that receipt, if it's used by credit card, you wouldn't need to do anything with that. She would just need to keep that for her own credit card expenses. And then why don't you write down in your travel envelope that Amber spent $30 on Uber, driving from the airport to the facility. And then Andre needed $112 back from the mileage that he drove from his house to the facility. So hopefully you were able to write those down, and no worries if you missed something.
Amber, how much did you spend?
I'm sorry?
How much did you spend on travel? You said $20?
I spent $30 on Uber.
Okay.
So we kind of missed the spirit part of communication, but just to have some fun, I want to remind us about SHAPE and just how we can embody that. And so here's a little communication funny video to have you watch. So kind of a dumb video.
This is an awareness test.
Sorry about that. Kind of a dumb video, but hopefully just an opportunity for you to understand the importance of communication as a site coordinator. And I think one of the best ways that you can communicate is even obviously giving reminders, but also asking questions. If you're a little unaware of something or just need clarity, ask a question. Make sure that you and whoever you're speaking to are on the same page, because that's going to be vital throughout the sessions. Moving forward, just in our finances, the athletic trainer of the session is going to be somebody that you will be in contact with, excuse me, right before the session. There will be a connection email sent from us as your set coordinator to you, who will connect you with the athletic trainer who's on duty for that week, and it will communicate the details of the schedule again and the times they need to be there, as well as the compensation for the AT. And so then what we'll ask you to do is make sure that you get in communication with them, especially for the payment process that will take place on day 4. You will pay them from the store sales, so you will utilize the cash you have, and then you will also make sure that they sign a form saying that they received their payment from you. Another big item for finances is the pizza money. And I know many of you have been to sessions before. So on day 3 is the time for you to get the logistics of pizza, as far as where you're going to get it, how much you're going to charge the athletes, and then give an announcement reminding them that they will need to bring their money on day 4 if they want pizza, if they want to order pizza. So then on day 4, you will receive all this money, you will take down the orders, then you will obviously call in the order to make sure that it's there that night for our tournament night on day 4. The biggest thing we want you to note is, though you're taking all of this cash from athletes to receive money for that pizza, we actually want to pay with credit card for that pizza. So if there is a director who has a PGC credit card, please make sure that you pay with credit card, as well as the tip is put on the credit card. That's vital. If for whatever reason you did have to pay with cash, then that is, you'll see on the master tracker later, there is a place to input that into the master tracker. But mostly all you're going to be doing in the master tracker is inputting the money you collected for pizza, not the money that then you spent ordering the pizza. Just going into another video talking about hustle, I'd like to just share with you this video here.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
So you're probably wondering, how in the world does that video have to do with hustle? And probably many of you have seen that video just in regards to awareness. But we know as site coordinators, you guys are going to hustle for us. You were hired for a purpose that we know that you can handle the site coordinator role. You're going to put in excellence. You're going to work hard at it. You're going to make sure that it's done correctly and on time. And so we know by doing all those things, hustle is certainly required. So though you're hustling, we just want to challenge you to be aware. One, be aware of your own needs. Make sure that you're taking the time to rest your own self. So one, getting to bed at a proper hour, giving yourself plenty of water and nutrition for your body to get that energy to go for a whole day. But then too, be aware there may be an athlete or there may be other staff members that are in need, and just be aware of those needs. I know that probably many of us are task oriented. We're very good administrators, but make sure you're affecting people and you're just aware of their needs as well, as long as taking care of your own. So just a challenge there. So we're moving into the master tracker, which is our last little thing here for our training period. So I want to give you just a few more tidbits on things to write down for your master tracker before we dive into it. So we are going to spend $59 in printing. $59 in printing. And then that's probably going to go under your store, one of your store sales envelopes. We're going to spend $18.58 in frames. $18.58 in frames. We're going to spend $7.23 in blue tape for the floor. And then a couple of things I want to talk to you about. So at the beginning of check-in, there may be some athletes that still have tuition due. We really want to stress the importance that they pay via credit card, and they would do that with the Playmakers. But if there's for some reason an athlete doesn't have a credit card, doesn't want to pay with credit card, we will take cash or check. And again, the master tracker is fully cash and check only oriented. You're not putting anything on there credit card related. So let's have John Doe. He's going to pay by check, check number 114. He's going to pay $795. He still owed tuition, so he paid $795. And then Jane Smith, she's going to pay $295 cash for her tuition. And then the last thing I want you to put down is your total store sales. And that total is going to be $2,487. So these are just a few things that you can take now. So completing a master tracker, we need accuracy and precision for sure. That is the expectation that we have. And one of the biggest reasons is kind of like, well, why does it matter, you know, that this master tracker is done? Because once you complete it, and let me just say here, we ask that it be completed 48 hours, within 48 hours of the session. And then you will be sending it to your set coordinator. And one of the biggest reasons this needs to get done, and it needs to get done with precision and accuracy, is then the set coordinator is taking that master tracker and it's we're inputting it into a grader document called SC Monies, and we're inputting all cash, all credit card sales, all book sales, all travel and reimbursements, all the sales for that session, so that we're aware of the money going out and the money coming in. And so if there are at all discrepancies within that master tracker to the other resources that we're using to finish the SC Money document, it's a lot easier to backtrack when it's a little bit more fresh in your mind than you not getting it done right away. You know, it's taking weeks to a month to get to us, and now if there is discrepancies, there's a lot harder way to figure them out. Mel, do you have any further thoughts on that? Because I don't feel like I explained it as well as I could have.
Yeah, so I just wanted to jump in. So you guys here, the master tracker is a key part of this session. Last year, we realized we had to do something different as far as training on the master tracker, because out of the 68 sessions we had, we had 66 master trackers that were incorrect from our site coordinators. And a lot of them were like small discrepancies, like $3 for batteries that were bought and weren't put in the master tracker, or $5 for Gatorade that was bought for an athlete. But overall, that's then something that we can't track where the money is. And we're a business, and if we can't do that, then something's wrong. So as we go through this training, we realized it was on our side. We didn't train enough or correctly on the master tracker, that you guys can reach out and schedule one-on-one meetings with anyone on the set to go over master trackers during these next couple weeks or during your sessions. We want to be there to hold your hand at the beginning while you're figuring it out, to ensure that you feel equipped to do a master tracker correctly. And as you guys are looking at it, you may think, oh, well, it's easy. Like, you put in pizza money here, you put in this or that there. But as you know from a session, it gets really hectic, and you don't take the time because there's a million and one other things to do. And so now we just need to explain the why and train better to make sure that those pieces get to us on time and are accurate.
For sure. Thanks, Mel, for doing that. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and open the master tracker document, which should be down below in your pre-homework, and download that master tracker. Once it's downloaded, and I would like for you to I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes here to kind of see if you can walk yourself through the master tracker with the information I provided with you, as far as certain cash being sent or certain cash being going out or coming in. And I know some of you, this might not, be easy. It's not the first time or the first time you've done it, but just as we continue through our shape, challenge you through times where things aren't maybe going the way that you want them to, or it's harder and you're struggling through something. Just again, that approach mindset that you're gonna keep working at it. You're gonna find the right person to maybe ask the question, or you're gonna give the extra time that it's needed to press on and persevere on, even though maybe you want to be a part of the session on court or something like that, but knowing the job and the task is at hand, and you're going to get it done with excellence. So go ahead and, if you haven't, download that, and then just take 3 to 5 minutes. If you don't finish it, it's okay, but I'll give you a few minutes to just work on it. I'm going to play you a little like inspiration while you do so.
Give up. You'll get it right. You'll get it right. Don't stop, don't give up. 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 Keep trying, keep trying. Don't give up, don't give up. You'll get it right. You'll get it right.
You guys will get it right. Press on. I'll give you a couple more minutes here. I'll give you 1 more minute. Andre, did you do this? Are you joining in and doing this on the master tracker?
I was not.
Okay. Sorry, I put you on the spot. I was just
Oh,
curious.
it's all good.
All right. Hopefully, we have somewhat of an idea of what we're doing on this master tracker, and I may be going too fast, but again, it's okay. I just want to kind of let you get a feel initially with this master tracker. But just to kind of walk through the master tracker, if you've been a site coordinator in the past, this looks slightly different than past, and we tried to, again, just continue to enhance it in a way that it was understandable in where you needed to input things. So on my master tracker, what I did was I put in travel, Amber Osborne with the $30 and Andre Walker with the $112, with the amount turning out to be $142 in my kind of reimbursements columns over on the left. And then on my right, my money in was pizza at $1,040. We did not pay with cash the pizza, so that second column is left break. So we got a net pizza profit of $1,000.40. Then right under pizza is tuition, and since we had 2 athletes pay with cash and check with tuition, we put in $795 and $295. And just to make you aware, if somebody did pay with credit card, let's say I paid $395 through credit card, you see that there's still a square up column. You just put an X in that column, indicating that funds did happen, transaction did happen, but it's not being listed on this master tracker. And there's a little note, if you take your mouse up into where it says square up, you'll see that little note to remind yourself. Other money in, Mel, could you speak to that real quick as far as just what are some other things that could be other money in?
Yes, for sure. Other money in could be Gatorade for a sick athlete that we had to buy. It could be tape that we had to buy. Staples, any extra supplies that are needed. Again, all of these things we want to be put on a credit card. And there should always be a credit card at a session unless, something crazy happened and it was lost or it was stolen. So those are, if you're unsure of where something's to go, like it's a random thing that was purchased, likely to go under miscellaneous. If you're not sure, reach out to your coordinator and they will support you in figuring that out.
Yeah, perfect. And thanks, Mel. You just not to put you back on the spot, but can you also talk about if for whatever reason we'd be getting more cash, what some of those things would look like too, other than tuition and pizza money? Can you think of anything else that would be like, this could be a possibility where more cash could be coming in?
Yeah, I would say if someone bought alumni rewards with cash, alumni rewards is likely won't be bought with cash, but there has been times in the past that it has been bought. I'm just thinking, Alexa, do you have any experiences where you had additional cash in? Really, alumni rewards and tuition are the only ones I can think of, but you may have some one-offs as well.
No, that's all that I was gonna say, alumni rewards, if you didn't say that, but that was the only other one.
Cool.
Okay, perfect, thanks. And so then as you scroll down, you see you'll put your store sales cash, so totaling up your day 1, your day 3, your day 5 store sales envelopes, as well as your staff store sales envelope, which for this scenario created $2,487. So I have a total money in of $4,617. Then as we scroll down to money out, that would obviously be payment of the athletic trainer, $500. Oh, I don't think I gave you that one. I apologize. And then some miscellaneous expenses could be printing or frames for the certificates or blue tape, all the things Melanie mentioned just recently. So all of those totals came out to $84.81. And then last is per diem. And just a reminder, per diem is only given to the director, the assistant director, and the site coordinator. And so Andre and Amber had per diem that needed to be given to them for that lunch on day 0. So as you can see, I put $8.20, or you can't see, but I put $8.22 for Amber. But for Andre, his lunch actually cost $10.57. But being aware of how much they get for per diem, they only get $10 for lunch per diem, and that includes tips and taxes as well. So I put in $10 for per diem for Andre in that amount, which totaled $18.22, with total money out being $745.03. And then if you scroll back up to the top of your master tracker, you will see that the total money that you should have in your hands from money out or money in, subtracting money out, which would be all reimbursements, all the athletic trainer, the miscellaneous expenses, and the per diem, the total deposit would be, oh gosh, $3,871.97. Is that correct? Did anybody get through this? Just curious.
I did not get that, but you also lost me about a minute ago.
Okay.
Amber, I also think didn't we miss the $500?
I did miss the $500. You are correct, Mel.
Okay. So. Jasmine, will you speak to what you were lost at, just so we know for the future when?
I think you lost me because I think I have everything on here. I think it's just a matter of where I put things. So
Okay.
So I had put, for some reason, I had put like the miscellaneous expenses where like the operating supplies were. So wherever I reimbursed Amber and Andre, I had the tape and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I saw it as an operating supply rather than an expense, because I saw it as supplies.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you there. That's one where it was probably a bad example that I used. That it could go in supplies, but since it also isn't specific to like needing it at a session, that's where we could put it somewhere else. So good thought there. Like if you were to send that into us, we wouldn't send it back and ask you to review it. So again, that's my fault on the poor example.
Mel, I would agree too.
Would you?
I would agree too, and
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm probably still a little new to the master tracker too, but Mel, how important is it whether we put like the printing or the blue tape in operating supplies or in miscellaneous expenses, considering they both are monies out?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get it in the right column, that would be best. If it is miscellaneous, we would ask you to leave like a detailed description anyways of what it was. So then when we give it to our accountants, they would know what it was. So again, if it's a $10, light bulb, we may not ask for specific details, but if it's, 200 miscellaneous, that's when we'd look into it. So again, as much detail as you can put on there, And then if we find out, oh, this is in the wrong spot, if we have all the details, we can make up for the discrepancies ourselves, or give you a ring and chat about it. So that's more so just like where communication comes in, and yeah, we want it in the right one, but if you leave a note because you're unsure, and that may be something where I view it differently than how our accountants would view it differently, we would then move forward and have a conversation about that. So again, I would try to get everything in the operations, or if it has nothing to do with miscellaneous. Oftentimes miscellaneous is the $200 float that we get back, and then the director forgot it and it went with you. So then Jasmine ends up depositing it. Jasmine ends up depositing Graham's $200 float. There's no section in the master tracker for that, but we have $200 extra. Okay, that's going to go in miscellaneous. So that's one example that we used in the summer of not knowing where to put that $200, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah, Jasmine, were you the one who spoke to that?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, that was great. And forgive me because that was my bad, because I'm even seeing here on my notes. It does say that, like Mel mentioned, trying to be specific when you are doing reimbursements. And then the other thing is, if you're unsure, like where to put a reimbursement, so for instance, probably printing or the blue tape would fall under a reimbursement, you're exactly correct. They say 99% of reimbursements is going to fall under the operating supplies. So great catch on that, and that would be something where that would go.
Yeah, that's actually the reason I put it there, because I saw 99%, and I was like, well, I'm only 1% of being wrong, so we're okay.
I like
Jasmine, you're on it. Great job. So yeah, as you can see, the master tracker is something that is vital to the success of the session, and we're asking you to be accurate on it, to be precise with it, and you're gonna find, from Alexa, who shared at the beginning, any veteran SC is gonna say that it's vital to take care of the organization of your money, to make sure that you're taking time to write down or filter through the receipts you maybe received for the day, and to just be on top of that, maybe even filling in the master tracker day by day, so that by the time you get to day 5, you've already kept up with it each day. There shouldn't be really questions, and you can finalize it and then shoot it off to your site or to your site coordinator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amber, I'm just going to jump in here for a second. Monisha or Dana, what has your experience been with the master tracker from the fall sessions that you guys led? Dana, do you have any feedback or comments on just jumping into it last year with not much training because it was a fall session? Or Monisha, you want to start us off?
Yes, my bad. I'm trying to drive, that's why.
Oh, be careful.
I would say that my experience is just more so, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so you always got to make sure you keep everything organized. But like you said, it's really not hard to understand the master tracking list once you actually understand it and do a practice run, because that's what I kept doing, practice runs. And everything is pretty much self-explanatory to input the data and the information.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Jasmine, I know you were a BI last year. Were you with master trackers at all in the fall?
No, I never did anything with this.
Okay. What are your thoughts right now just as you took a look at it and moving forward?
I feel like it's just something that that it'll make sense when I'm at a session having to deal with all these things. And like it's something you kind of just do as you do as you get the things. And That's kind of, you just need to get used to it, because looking at it before I had all these numbers in here, I was kind of scratching my head about it. But after putting in all the information that Amber gave us, it makes more sense to me, at least. It's just practice.
Alexa, I'd just be curious to know if you've done the envelope system before and how
Yeah.
that worked out for you.
Yeah, I did have a different envelope for every different session because my first session I was like, oh man, how much did I get for the pizza? And then you have to go back and try to figure that out. So I did have different envelopes and kind of had a binder to put them in. So it just was better to be more organized. So then if you fill it out during the week, then you don't have to worry about it. And then if 2 days afterwards, and you don't have to try to backtrack. So it's really kind of important just to be organized and have a certain amount of money in each envelope.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Well, just to have some fun, I'm going to show you this real fun video on precision, since we're talking about precision and the need to be precise on our, I think I am. Oh, there we go. Okay, on our master tracker. So just check this out real quick. So that's some crazy precision right there. And we just want to encourage you as you take on these sessions to get after it in your precision with the master tracker, because it makes the set coordinator just a lot more happy too. And so making sure that you're on top of that daily would be great. As we finish up here and just kind of close out and finish up with enhancement as our word, are there specific ways that you know of, and we've kind of already hit on them, but I want to make sure we've given everybody a chance, any specific ways that you know of to enhance the ease of finances and staying on top of them through a session? Or let me ask this, what mistakes have you done in the past that you've learned from moving forward?
I like that one.
I could talk, I guess. Like I said, like my first couple sessions, I wasn't as organized as I probably should have been. I wasn't sure as to what this master tracker was and stuff. But just being organized, I love the envelope thing. Just so you don't have to backtrack. Like I said, it's really just important just to know how much money you have and always being safe with it. And have it in your binder. I carried a big backpack around all the time. Everyone made fun of me for it, but I always knew that I had everything I needed in my backpack. So that's something important. I think the envelope thing is pretty crucial.
Yeah, that's good. I think one for me is when you're going to back-to-back sessions, I got mixed up my first summer in I could see in knowing that, okay, if you're at like Wheaton number 1 and then going to Wheaton number 2 and you haven't deposited the money soon enough, yes, again, you want to keep them in separate envelopes, but then it just gets to be too much. So making sure you close out one session finances before you start finances for a second session is a good learning from being on set and working with site coordinators.
And Mel, I just realized that isn't really something we ever talked about, even just within our set. Would you like to talk just briefly on deposit?
Yeah, definitely. So with this cash that you've been tracking all week, you will then deposit it at the nearest Bank of America. So there are Bank of Americas in the majority of the states. I believe there's not one in Colorado or Ohio, and we'll work with you for those sessions that you're working in those states to come up with a different plan in depositing. So the session will close out on a Friday, and most likely a Friday or a Saturday, and you will need to deposit the money in the next 48 hours to ensure that our accountants know where that money is and where is it going, and then we can move forward with financing it. Alexa would